Hello everybody, my name is Alan Cavagnaro, welcoming you back. Actually, we're not welcoming. For the first time ever, Apex Online Racing has a YouTube channel. So hello everybody, my name is Alan Cavagnaro. We are welcoming you back to Racing in F1 2017. My name is Alan Cavagnaro. I'm alongside Nathan, or PS Luton Rules. How you doing, Nathan?
Yeah, I'm doing fine. Yes, had a couple of races off, so I wasn't here commentating for the British or Hungarian Grand Prix. I do know the results. I do know how they panned out. But yeah, looking forward to the Belgian Grand Prix because Spa, yeah, in my opinion, one of the better tracks on the calendar.
Yep, for the next couple of minutes, you'll be looking at this lobby screen. We have 15 drivers. We do have some news. Speaking about the drivers, our beloved and loved Jay Thorne and Shelly, they will be no longer racing with us. That is a little bit of a disappointment. For Shelly, it is some job. That all I heard was a job, and he will not be with us. Jay Thorne has moved down to reserve, which means Carrick's has taken the spot of, where's Carrick's? Right, he's taking the spot of Jay Thorne, so he is full-time in that Mercedes now, instead of the Haas, and I think, I'm not even sure if Nervotank is with, Nervotank still is in here, but he's not in the Haas anymore. So yeah, we only have 15 drivers today, which is the lowest we've had so far this season. I'm not sure if we're waiting for anyone else, but like we said, that also leaves Kian alone in the Renault. Bixie, he's, I wouldn't say nervous, but he's not patient, and we want to start this session. So yeah, we'll start today's race with 15 drivers, an all-time low, which means many drivers will be looking to get their first points of the season. So it looks good for them, but as we approach Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps, for Season 14, round number 12 here for the AOR season. You said you looked at the last couple of races. I mean, you missed round 10 and 11, and that's before and after the holiday break. So I haven't talked to you in a couple weeks, more than a month. So hopefully we're all caught up as we approach Spa, and as time counts down, we'll get ready for qualifying. So as we approach Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps, this is, like we said, the 12th round of the season. Nathan, are there any things that you'd like to point out about this track? I mean, it is the longest on the calendar, and may trick some people out. What are your thoughts on it?
Well, okay, I'll leave the track facts to you later on because I know that's your thing. You love doing the track facts, but so what we'll talk about is the last time AOR, the PS4. F1 AOR League was at the Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. That was Season 13. Now, actually, the Season 13 race around Spa was quite interesting, to be perfectly honest. The qualifying results, Aresi was on pole position, Shelley second, Clarkey third, but because Spa, as is always the way, it was a mixed conditions race, the Season 13 race, and it meant that Alex actually won the Grand Prix, and then you had Michelangelo in second, not the 15th century painter, but the AOR racer, Michelangelo in second. But yes, the point is Alex won the Grand Prix, but he only qualified in 11th, and Michelangelo finished second and qualified down in 14th. And Aresi, who took pole position, finished in third. So, this is one of those tracks where it is fairly easy to overtake, even with these 2017 F1 cars. So, qualifying, of course, qualifying always important, but this is one of the tracks where we can expect some more exciting racing, a higher quantity of overtakes, with the Camel Straight, Eau Rouge, Radion, Pouon. There's lots of high-speed corners, overtaking opportunities. The bus stop chicane, of course, breaking down for that. That's a prime overtaking opportunity right at the end of the lap. So, yeah, I think, we're about to head into qualifying, and I may have, make no mistake, qualifying is still very important. So, we've got some drivers heading out. B Colt is one of the first drivers out, along with Kian. So, I believe B Colt was the first one out, as he's just gone up the hill at Radion and onto the first straight in Spa. And I have no idea whether it's going to be a mixed conditions race. It is Spa, one of the kings of rain and of drizzle, but if this is a mixed conditions race, then we could expect the similar sort of the drama that we saw last season, where those who started outside of the top 10 ended up winning, ended up taking podium positions. But there's only 15 drivers here, and it is quite possible that we could see a unfamiliar face, right up towards the top winning. We've had 9 different race winners so far this season. It is entirely possible, especially with some, you know, some fairly new drivers taking permanent positions such as KRX and such as Kian. You know, it is entirely possible, especially around Spa, a crazy circuit like this, that we could see the 10th different race winner in this season, and it's only the 12th race. So, you know, it's been quite a wild season so far.
Yeah, this season has really been diverse amongst the different winners we've seen so far this season. Like we said, we left Hungary with another different winner on the calendar, so we did 11 races, we had 9 different winners, and we come to this race with 15 drivers. Now, funny you mentioned how Season 13 went, because if you go back to Season 12, the start with that was chaotic. One of the Red Bulls off the start spun, and it was a chain reaction after that. It was more than a 10-car collision before turn 1. I know drivers such as Alex were caught up in that. I think Nervotank caused it by an early start due to Codemasters, due to their little glitch that they had in F1 2016, which, you know, ultimately caused the whole collision in Season 12. Hopefully it doesn't happen with us for Season 14 on F1 2017, but never say never. Many of those drivers that were involved in that incident are in this race today. So we have 9 minutes left of qualifying. Nobody has set a time yet. Ali K just started his lap. I think the first one out actually was B-Colt, so we'll take an onboard with him. Put on little, currently fitted. For some reason, Simo is on these soft tires. Do you have any reason why he could be going on those soft tires?
Well, it is possible that he's just reverting the strategy. Now we've seen Simo do. He did this wonderfully at the Monaco Grand Prix, where he did a completely different strategy, going on different tires at different times, and you know it worked wonders for him. He ended up winning the Monaco Grand Prix. And we know the strategy, the common strategy around the circuit is ultra soft, soft. And it looks like that Simo, assuming he does qualify on these tyres, or even if he just qualifies outside of the top 10, can start on those soft tyres. And that means, you know, he'll be doing the opposite strategy while everyone else is out on worn ultra softs. He'll be out on worn softs, and then he'll be on brand new ultra softs, going quickly come the end of the Grand Prix. And you know, this is one of those circuits, as I've already said, where it is fairly easy to overtake. So you could, you know, save the best tyres until last, and then, you know, just blitz past everyone then. So, you know, a different strategy, bold, but yeah, starting on the soft tyres, it's still a valid strategy. It's just reverting what we know the common tyre strategy to be.
Yeah, I mean, like we said, we got a note from one of the drivers, Alex. He messaged us personally, telling us that it should be a one-stop from the ultra softs to softs, like we said. So I mean, the tires from softs to ultra softs will be involved in this one for drivers that find it tricky to do a one-stop with those tires. Most likely, Alex as well. I don't know why he told us ultra softs to softs if he is on the super softs right now. Sort of contradicts what he said earlier to us. But yeah, like we said, if you know you can't really go from ultras to softs, and you're not good with tire wear, then most likely it'd be advised you go from you know, super softs, or qualify on super softs, then go to the softs. I mean, it depends what tire you start and finish on. But we do have six and a half minutes left, around 7, and Bixie has clocked on a time to be fastest so far in this session. 10 drivers, now 11 drivers have set a time. Believe it or not, Carrick's is all the way at the bottom of the order. Must have had not the best lap, as now Alex slides in right above, so the Mercedes sit in those last 2 positions for the drivers who have set a time today in quali. But I think, let me put on the, there we go, the interval. Clarkey is in second by 3/10, so I mean, he's brought that motivation forward from the Hungaro ring to the Belgian Grand Prix here at Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. And I mean, right now he's sitting in third now, as Aresi tops the timetable, goes to the top by 2/10 over Big C. So Williams right now are looking good. They're sitting second and third. I mean, both Williams had a good points day in the Hungarian Grand Prix after holiday break, and now they're starting to continue that streak. We talked to Ali K at the end of round number 11, saying Belgium is not one of my good tracks. I preferred it on the 2016 game, but for 2017, we will see how we do. We'll bring on the challenge, but I don't expect a win here today. That is what he told us last weekend. So, paraphrasing, not exactly, paraphrasing, that's what I remember. So for the time being, he sits in P4 with 5 minutes left. Do you think he can clock in a time to sit in the front row?
Well, I mean, we'll have to wait and see. I mean, he's 4th at the moment, and this isn't one of his strong circuits, and that may be entirely possible, but he's still the championship leader, he has still been, well, statistically the best driver this season so far, hence why he's heading the championship. He's fourth at the moment. He might gain a couple of places, he might lose a couple of places, but, you know, front row starts, I mean, he'll have to gain about 0.3 of a second, well, two 0.3 of a second to get a front row start, so we'll have to wait and see. Carex is certainly someone who I'm waiting to see set a lap time, along with RC Alonso, who hasn't set a lap time yet, but Carex hasn't really set a representative lap time because his qualifying lap time is marginally slower than Simo's, and Simo was on the softs and Carex was on the ultra softs, so definitely something went wrong in his qualifying lap there. As I'm just seeing him, he's just been pushed back into the garage actually. But yeah, I don't know, Aresi took pole position in season 13, completely different game I know, but he took pole position in season 13, and Aresi, he's currently holding the pole position by over 0.2 of a second, so I think that's going to be tough to take pole position off of him. You'd have to set a sub 1 minute 43, that would be tough, but entirely possible. Clarkey won the previous Grand Prix, the latest in the series of 9 different race winners, so he's one who's been really doing well recently. You know, lots of strong drivers there, and really it's difficult to say, but normally what we've seen in previous races is there's not too many changes when drivers go out to do their second runs, especially towards the top. But certainly, if Alex goes on ultra soft, Simo on ultra soft, and Carex, well, I think Carex actually has just left the pits on super softs. Yes, he has actually. So Carex is on super soft. So both Mercedes drivers are choosing to do their qualifying laps on the super softs, which is very odd actually. You know, it's certainly a different strategy planned there. I mean, maybe they just don't fancy their chances on the ultra softs, and anyway, if they qualify outside of the top 10, they can start on whatever tyres they like anyway. But it's just strange that Carex hasn't set a decent lap time, and you know, he's gone out on the super softs, so he's not going to gain, realistically, he's not going to gain that many places.
Yeah, we bring ourselves at 3 minutes left in quali. Big C goes back out onto the track, so does Ali K and Ali D. Jake LFC has also been out on those super softs, so he is second driver to go out on that compound, like we said, with Alex. Alex has decided in the pits he's switching to ultra softs. He will go out on track in the next couple minutes, most likely. You see the top 5 have all went back out on track. There goes Kian. He goes back out onto the racing surface. Go back up towards the front. Aresi is still our pole man by 0.2 of a second over Big C, who stands in P2 by 0.2. Looking behind, there's Clarkey in third, fourth Ali K, fifth for Ali D. And most likely that grid order will be shifted around within the next couple of minutes as everyone clocks in their final and fastest lap time. But again, we bring ourselves to 2 minutes left in quali. And I mean, it's going to be a good finish between all these drivers because I know they're going to bring their best. Ali D runs it wide to gain momentum down the straight to start his lap. Let's see what this flyer is going to do. Across the line, he'll start his lap time. We'll check back in a couple of minutes. Ali K, not going to do the same thing Ali did, but across the line, he'll start his lap time. And Ali K, it looks like RC Alonso has called it quits without setting a lap time. He didn't even go out on the surface, the racing surface. I'm not sure if there was a grid penalty or anything, or just decided to not qualify. But Big C comes across the line, and he'll start his lap time. Aresi has gone back out there, and he will be starting his lap time. We bring ourselves to 1.5 minutes remaining here in Spa. So we're going to go across the field. I think RC Alonso he disconnected and retired at the same time. So I'm not sure what exactly happened, but like we said, he'll be starting last from this race unless someone gets a grid penalty. But we bring ourselves to one final minute, and it's a question on who will get pole position, because really, all of these drivers have a chance to get pole. I mean, they're pretty close to each other, within around a second, most likely. I mean, you go back here with Simo and Carrickson have the best times. I mean, they've been fastest throughout the entire season, but believe it or not, they're more than a second off the pace, so most likely they will revise those times come towards the end of qualifying. Go up towards the front, Aresi down the straightaway, and he finds the middle lane to work as he moves up to the left-hand side. Big C now heading down the flying left-hander, headed all the way downhill here at this circuit. He's going to switch to the left-hand side as he goes through, and tries to enter the final sector. Look back with Clarky, still going downhill. Ali K in 4th place. He will be coming to the end of his lap. We'll take an onboard till the end. 16 seconds left. I'm not sure if we'll have enough time to get back, but Ali D clocks in a fastest time. Looked like that paid off for him. Now Aresi's 1/10 behind. What can Ali K say about it? Across the line, Ali K. 2nd place. Barely gets in another lap to set a time if he decides to do so. And it looks like he may be going for it again. So 1/10 Ali D still stands on top. I don't think anyone else can top that time. Across Big C, 2nd place, 7/100ths of a second. Like we said, Ali K going for one more time. And if he keeps going for it, do you think he'll be able to take pole against Ollie?
Oh, that's a tough question. I mean, it's not going to be long until we do find that out, actually. Yeah, I mean, there's lots of drivers. I mean, Simo, of course, who's out there right now on the ultra soft tyres. He's into the final sector. As Aresi has just taken pole position with a 1:42.6, so he's improved on his best lap time by about 0.4 of a second. But Simo and Alex, actually, the two drivers who have just gone out on ultra softs, they're towards the end of their laps right now. So it'd be interesting to find out where they properly sit in the real pecking order. And Simo, I should point out that when both Simo and Alex, they both started their outlaps at the same time, and Simo overtook Alex on the outlap. So Simo's getting racy already in qualifying, and he's coming round the final corner right now. The run up towards the line, he's 14th at the moment, so last of someone who's actually completed a lap time, and he is in 4th place.
Yep.
So not quite on the front row, but on the second row actually.
Hold on. Slowing down is Ali K. He was on a flyer. I'm not sure if that car's out of fuel or not. Starting to go back up to speed again, but he's really slow. So Ali K, he was on a good lap, but ends up calling it quits here in quali, going really slow. He will go into the pits and probably retire after this. Aresi stands on the front row with his car parked in Arouge, with Clarky looking right up behind him. This is a funny scene to see. Start recording here. And that ends out qualifying. I don't think anyone else will be setting a time yet here today. Like we mentioned, we don't have many people here for today's race, which is a bummer. But like we said, only 5 drivers will be not getting any points unless we have less than 10 drivers left in the race, which hopefully doesn't come to a conclusion. Aresi's car starts to move again, where looks like one of the Williams, that was Clarky, has lost a tire in Eau Rouge. And, well, hopefully he'll get his tire back in the race. But let's go over the top 10 in qualifying. We have 30 seconds left. So here it is. It is Aresi, Ali D, Big C, Simo, Ali K, Clarky, Wooly, Carrick, Synthetic. Oh, never mind. Cuts out. We'll go back to that. But, I mean, that was an interesting qualifying session, to say the least. I mean, I didn't think that Aresi could really get the fastest time. He hasn't shown the speed this season, and he's also done it by 2/10, which is a big gap considering the AOR standards we have here. But again, here's the top 10. Aresi, Ali D, Big C, Simo, Ali K, Clarky, Wooly, Carrick, Synthetic, Kian. Running at the top 10, then there's H Racing Green, Jake LFC, Beacle, Car Alex, and RC Alonso. Not setting a time from 1st to 14th. It is 1.6 seconds for the Belgian Grand Prix qualifying in Season 14. So that ends out... Oh, you go.
Well, I was just going to say, it's also 1 second separates the top 12, and it's a long lap as well, so that's... We all know that the field has always been close, but 1 second between the top 12 at one of the longest circuits on the calendar, you know, it proves once again how tight this field is.
Yep. Quickly, I'm trying to bring up the track facts here. Like you said, I like to do that. Pull up... Wikipedia is being very slow, so yeah, that's my source. So we will wait for the grid order to get going again. Here we go, let's talk about the track facts. So, the modern circuit with the new pit lane bus stop chicane from 2007 present. It is 7 flat kilometers, or 4.3 miles long, 19 corners around this fast and long track. Like I said, 7 kilometers, that's a long circuit. Fastest lap race record was from 2017, so this year, a 1:46.5 by Sebastian Vettel in his Ferrari from this year. So, I mean, same equipment that they'll be using, so that's sort of the time to be aiming for. Maybe a little bit better, because the cars in the game go a little bit faster than real life. So that's the time to be aiming for today. As we approach the Belgian Grand Prix, here we go. We'll get started, ready and rolling. the 5 red lights to fall on our screen for round 12 of AOR. And wait for it to go. And we're green. Here in Spa. A Rusty and LED on the front row. A steady start for the front 2 already. 3 wide in the background. There's a spin almost. I thought there was, but that's some lag in the background in the hairpin 3 wide. The McLarens are the source of this attention in the background. 13th, 12th, 11th. They're going to try and go side by side in our Rouge. I was go up through the field and single file. Aresi hangs on to lead, but Alidi's going to peek out to the outside. Down the straight, here we go. And it's going to be close between everyone. Down the Camel straight, sticking to the inside, back to the outside. It's sort of tandem drafting if you think about it, but around the outside, Ali D takes the lead off the Camel straight. And for the time being, Ali D retakes the lead off the start, single file behind. There is a pass, however, a couple other people looking, trying to make a move. And I can see a Red Bull that is Wooly against Synthetic slicing through the field already. Synthetic into P number 8 on lap 1. So we go to the field. Whoa, Jake, was that Jake? Yeah, that was Jake LFC. Almost losing the back end, coming downhill. Now the flat out left-hander. Oh, Wooly around the outside. Oh, this is going to be close between them. 2 wide already with the Renault of Kian and Wooly. Wooly trying to ring it around the outside, back to the inside for a position, and clears him for P number 9. So that is single file stuff for now on. Oh, hold on, never mind. That is Alex and Beacle still lagging together. What's happening here? I think the lag is sorted out now. But we go back through the field. Here we go. We have RC Alonso, Jake LFC. 2 Tarasos going at it. Will he be able to go around the outside? Hops over the curb. And around the outside goes RC Alonso. Incredible pass on the opening lap of this race. And 3 wide down to the inside. 3 wide. Alex, what are you doing? And is going to try and find some room. Beacle, innocent victim of this, trying to find a way around all 3 of these guys across the line for lap number 2. And right now, Beacle stuck behind all 3 of these drivers, thinking, what are they doing? And down to the inside goes Beacle against Alex. So Alex slides back into last position. So we'll go back up to the gap from first to second. It is 2 tenths. Will that gap close within this first lap? Everyone trying to break up Slipstream. And to the outside goes Aresi. He'll try and hang it around the outside like he did a lap ago to himself. And right now, Ollie D hangs on to the lead here in Spa. It's been a good race so far. No retirements, like we said. Single file. 22-lap race. Like we said, it's the longest race of the season, meaning the less amount of laps we'll be completing. So that sort of brings in about the pit stops. We have 22 laps. What do you think these drivers will be pitting from ultra softs to softs?
Oh, cool. What time? I imagine around maybe like the lap 7, lap 8 mark. It's certainly going to be before lap 10 without a shadow of a doubt. Bearing in mind, of course, those who have qualified in the top 10 are starting on the ultra softs that they qualified on, so they're not even completely brand new ultra soft tyres, so they've got some wear on them. Speaking about the tyres, I know it's a bit too early to be getting into the strategy just yet, but everyone who qualified outside of the top 10 is starting on the super softs. Also, Carex, who qualified, I believe, in 8th place, is also starting on the super softs. So there's a difference in strategy going on between, well, certainly those inside the top 10 and outside of the top 10. But, I mean, there's certainly a lot of racing going on for the time being. I don't think
hold on, Nathan. We're getting rain on the circuit. This will change everything. Ollie D fastest lap time. I just started to see some specks of rain appear in the sky. And, well, now it is downpouring on the circuit as we head downhill. It is very noticeable for every driver. So this will and may change everything. And remember, we talked about Ollie D. He won on a track in Shanghai when it was pouring. In the drenching conditions. He loves the rain conditions. He already has the lead. This is going to be even better for him. And most likely, if the rain is here to stay, they'll be doing 1 pit stop easily. Everyone will be doing 1 pit stop. And pit strategy shouldn't really be a factor. So it's really just down to rain racing here at Spa. And we come to this track. I mean, it does happen quite a lot sometimes on this game. So not too surprised to see it. But yeah. Jake LFC goes by Wooly. So the sister team, Toro gets by. And Beacle looking. What's going on here? Again, more lag. Oh, you're seeing what I'm seeing, right?
Yes, I'm seeing madness between Alex and Beacle. It's...
RC Alonso's off. RC Alonso is off. He must have lost the back end. You can already see spray coming from these tires. I think it's already ready to switch to the intermediates. Because, I mean, like we said, Spray, oh, Clarky, falling down the grid order. Something must have happened. But like we said, Spray is already coming down on the circuit. So, hopefully, the conditions gets better for the drivers. And most likely, they'll be pinning this lap right on board with our leader, Ali D. The Spray is definite. A lap ago, there wasn't even rain coming out of the sky. Now it's flying cats and dogs onto the circuit. And Ali D, he's still leading by 1.5 seconds as you disconnect from the session. And drifting through the final corner is Ali D, so he'll come into the pits. So does Aresi. Everyone else comes into the pits except Big C and Simo. They stay out. Simo is, I would say he knows how to play his cards every single race, and that's how he's been so successful at getting podiums. Now, do you think it was a mistake for Simo to stay out when everyone else pitted?
Well, I mean, we'll wait and see. I mean, Simo's been very good on the strategy of late, but I mean, as you said, you know, one lap we went from pretty much a bone dry circuit to intermediate tyre conditions, or seemingly, certainly close to intermediate tyre conditions at the very least.
Oh, Big C's gone. Big C's gone. He's lost it out of the Radiat and out of the Camel Straight. And he is 1 out of 2 drivers to still be on this circuit in pouring conditions on the Ultra Softs. What factor will that play towards Simo? DRS is now disabled, so Simo is a lone man out on this circuit still, and he's locking up, missing the apex. There may be even a chance that Audi may catch him towards the end of this lap. A terrible error from Big C means he is out of this race 4 laps in.
Yeah, I mean, Simo is just losing time rapidly to Ollie D. Well, actually, I'll say that. He just gained a 10th, actually, on my screen. But, no, he's just lost another 3 attempts. Simo, this is definitely a mistake. And obviously, as I was saying earlier on, yeah, he's crawling around the circuit as Simo. He's losing tenths of a second all the time as we speak. But obviously, of course, because this is one of the longest circuits, and because Spa just has its own sort of microclimate, the weather is so unpredictable, and it can downpour this quickly. All of those factors combined means that, you know, one lap can be a massive difference to the weather conditions. So if you get it 1 lap too late, 1 lap too early, it can cost you a lot of time, and that is exactly what's happened with Simo. I should point out...
Oh, hold on. Simo will be headed into the pits, obviously, this lap. The gap is 10 seconds. I was going to say, Aresi must have had a dreadful pit stop, as he has lost position to Carix, who now trails behind Ali D by 3.5 seconds. So Ali D getting more comfortable up in the front of the conditions he likes to see. He loves these wet conditions, so this definitely helps him. Simo is going to drop down the grid order as well. Take it on board with him off the pits. And, no, he cannot, but there's a chance he could still maybe be in the top 5. I don't know. Here's Kean. It's going to be close. Gets off ahead of Clarky. He is in P4. I'm not sure where he was before this pit stop, but he hasn't lost too much ground, which is good news, and he's trying to fend off Clarky behind him, who won last weekend's Grand Prix, and he's trying to get a little more of a redemption and, you know, pick up 50 points in the last 2 weekends. Most likely not going to happen, but here we go. Wheel to wheel down the Camel Straight between him and Samo, and headed off the corner into turn number 7, and Simo is still in front. And I now look through the grid, and already I look with Aresi. He has gained a couple tenths on Carix, and the gap between Ali D and Carix is starting to diminish. It's already gone down by half of a second. We're 5 laps into this race. The question is if Ali D can hang on to the lead, if the gap is going to go down by that much. That's the question we have. But we look to the field, everyone is single file throughout the grid here at Spa. 14 runners left in the race, and Ali D still leads by 3.2 seconds. I think now would be a good time to bring up the points, and I say that I don't even have the points pulled up. So might as well, for the next couple of minutes, I'll try and pull up the points if I can. Hopefully my internet doesn't lag me out of the race. But yeah, we are 5 laps in. We're not even 6 laps in. The rain really makes this lap a very, very long one, ranging into the around a 2-minute mark for each lap you do in the wets. So you have a 22 lap race, you know, it'd be 44 lap race if, you know, you started the race on the wets and finished on the wets. but that's not the case. It will end a little bit shorter. But Carrick's and the Mercedes, he is in second place. He's got a good start to AOR. Started off with, he started with his debut race in the British Grand Prix, ended up winning that. Hungary. It wasn't the best for him. He caused a couple collisions. A couple people have called him out for it. And now this race, he's running in P2. So another podium for him. Looks to be good. Aresi, defending champion. He is looking for a podium this season. I think it's his first or second. I'm not exactly sure. Must be either one of those. I'm trying to check right now, but my phone is just buffering. But yeah, we look back with Simo. He's in fourth. He is hanging on. The gap between him and Aresi is 5.3 as Synthetic is wheel to wheel. Look at this three-car train. Trying to find a way around his H Racing Green. Can Harry do it? And Kian and Synthetic will be going at it for position number 6. And leading the way in this three-car pack is Synthetic. H Racing Green has gone by Kian. There's been a shift in position as well with Ali K and Alex. Ali K right now is looking to get a single point out of this race. There's also position shift behind with Beekle and Woolley. Woolley got by. Go through the field. I don't think any more passes should be going on. Everyone got by anyone else that was faster. But we go through the field. Nathan, we're 6 laps in. Do you have any predictions about either the weather or what these drivers will do? Hold on a second. Beekle has slammed into the wall and cannot control that car. He's running in P13. And I didn't see any damage, but oh, never mind. He may have some front wing damage. He's run off the circuit and off the track, head on into the wall. And Beekle, he's still in this race. And never mind, he's a goner. And he is out of the Belgian Grand Prix, and his car is almost stuck, but he is now out of the Belgian Grand Prix. So, yeah, Nathan, now I'm going to say, are there any predictions? We're 6 laps into this race. Are there any things you expect? Now 7 laps.
Well, I think the lead of the race, the battle between the lead, for the lead of the race, is definitely going to be between certainly in the short term, between Ollie D and Carex. Now, you said Ollie D likes these conditions, and that certainly is true. Carex are actually losing it off of La Source, and he's just got a 3-second time penalty.
Oh,
so I don't know whether the game can...
I hate interrupting you. That was crucial because he was reeling him in so much. Now the gap is, 2 laps ago, the gap was 3.5 seconds. Now it's 2.5 seconds. So, Ollie D, if you're watching, Carex has a 3-second time penalty, so that's going to add insult to injury on what Carex needs to do to win this race. And, Ollie D, Carex, they've won a GP this season, so they're going for their second win. Aresi, he's just trying to get a win on the board, trying to put something for his name this season. It hasn't been the best for the defending champion, Aresi. Simo back and forth trying to get another consistent podium. I honestly feel like Simo will. I mean, every time Simo's in a race, half the time he doesn't even run inside the top 3. The last couple laps, boom, he appears in the podium. That's what it feels like to me. Simo gets so many podiums, and I don't even realize it. I mean, I go through the field, sometimes Simo's 9th or 5th or whatever. Next thing you know, he ends the race on, in the podium. So my prediction is Simo will somehow, I don't know how, but he'll find a way into the podium in this race. Don't quote me on it, but I feel like Simo will get a podium in this race. However, with Carex and LID, right before that time penalty, I was going to say Carex is going to win. All of a sudden, that 3-time penalty, that changes everything. Because these drivers will make it to the end if the rain stays till the end, or if it doesn't get worse. Also, like we said, it's hard to pass in this game on the dries. Imagine how hard it is on the wets. There's no racing at all. Remember Spain, there was like 2 on-track overtakes, and Simo was one of them. Imagine how long it's going to take Carex to get by Aladi and then extend the gap, and you don't have many laps to do it.
Well, you say you don't have many laps to do it, but actually Carex, he's just dipped under the 2-second mark. The gap between Carex and Ollie D is 1.6 seconds. So he's catching up at a rate of, several tenths of a second a lap, maybe half a second a lap.
Nah,
at that rate, Carex... at that rate... Well, it's a lot. I mean, he's just caught up a couple of tenths of a second. Well, he's gained loads up La Source, as Aresi has got a 3-second time penalty. So actually, Ollie D is the only one of the top 3 not to have a time penalty as of yet. But Carex, because he's catching up at such a rate on Ollie D, you'd have to say that Carex, assuming he can get past Ollie D fairly quickly, easily and cleanly, that Kerex would be able to extend a 3-second gap on Ollie D. There's not that many laps, but they're all long laps with a lot of corners. And, you know, I mean, that's assuming that the weather doesn't change, because if it gets to full wet conditions, then who knows, that might favour Kerex even more. Maybe not. It's, yeah, it is difficult to say. But the gap between Ollie D and Aresi has been hovering around the 5.5 second mark. It's currently 5.3 seconds. Simo, though, is slowly catching up on Ollie D. It's not much, maybe a tenth, maybe 0.2 of a second a lap. And you said that you predict that somehow Simo's going to find himself on a podium position at least. But, you know, Simo, he's pulled away from Synthetic. There's a 4-second gap between Simo in 4th and Synthetic in 5th. And, you know, Simo, certainly one of the quicker drivers out there on these intermediate tyres. And, yeah, I mean, I think the race win, as I said, in the short term, providing the conditions don't change too much, is going to be between Ollie D and Kerex. But who knows, Simo could catch up. Aresi has been hovering around the same gap. So actually, that's another thing. If Kerex and Ollie D battle excessively, then Aresi could well catch up because of that. And Kerex, the gap between Kerex and Ollie D is only 0.8 of a second. So Kerex caught up about 0.8 of a second that lap. The lap just gone. So, yeah, up Eau Rouge, Radion onto the Camel Straight. And Kerex is just carrying so much more momentum up that sequence of corners. And I don't quite know how. I don't know whether it's just bravery. He's just keeping his foot in the throttle longer than Ollie D. I don't quite know. But certainly, without a shadow of a doubt, Kerex is catching up. Aresi, the gap between Aresi and Ollie D is just dipped under the 5-second mark. Simo's also catching up. Synthetic, actually, as a matter of fact, has catch up to Ollie D. So, Ollie D, prime track position, but, yeah, I mean, there's 13 laps left to go. 13 long laps left to go. So, you know, anything can happen, you know, and that's assuming the conditions don't change. And just going on further down the field, actually it's quite a nice battle between 8th and 9th place. Well, 8th, 9th and 10th actually. Kian, JKLFC and Ali K are all in a train. They're all separated by about a second. No DRS, which obviously does hinder the overtaking opportunities, but it's incredibly close for the final few points positions. Alex is currently down in 11th place. He won this Grand Prix, the Belgian Grand Prix in Season 13, in similar mixed conditions from dry to wet. But at the moment, Alex, 22.4 seconds off the race lead. But actually, I was just saying on board from him, and it is raining very heavily. It sort of won't surprise me if the rain keeps up this intensity that we do get to the full wet tyres in the fairly near future. RC Alonso in 12th, and then Woolley a few seconds back off RC Alonso in 13th, and is currently last of the runners. But the gap between Kerex and Ollie D is less than 0.3 of a second, heading up towards La Source, and it is incredibly close between those two. It's just inevitable that Kerex will get past. It's just a matter of when and how. But he's been consistently quicker up the sequence of corners. So left and then right up La Source, and then the left into Radion. Ollie D losing it there. He's just gone off the circuit, and Kerex been able to carry the momentum, and Kerex is currently leading the Belgian Grand Prix. No amount of slipstream will be able to carry Ollie D back into the race win. And no, Kerex, one of, if not the quickest driver out there, just taking the race lead. And I hate to say it, but that was inevitable. And Ollie D, slight mistake there, cracking under the pressure, but it's getting wetter, so it's not surprising that, you know, some of the drivers are starting to lose grip and make mistakes.
Yeah, I was gonna say, newsflash, that gap has gone down by a lot, but never mind. Last time when you started your sentence, the gap was 1.5 seconds. Now, Kerex has a lead by half of a second. So a lot has happened in the last couple of minutes, running wide a little, losing some time to Ollie D. But yeah, 3-second penalty for Kerex. I think it was either 2 or 3. I think it was 3 seconds for Kerex that he has to win by, or else Ollie D will get rewarded first position. But for the time being, it is Kerex, the man out in front, leading. Lap number 10 runs a little bit wide. You were saying about the conditions, they've gotten a lot worse. Yeah, I've noticed. I wonder when these drivers will be going in for full wets, because like I said, the rain is just getting worse and worse. One time they're gonna have to pit for full wets, and if that's the case, Who is going to go in first? Who is going to make that move? As you just saw Carex lose the back end. Sliding. That's sort of a sign to show that it's time for full wets. And there goes Carex into the pits. He is going for full wets. We'll follow him into the pits. Aresi stays out. Simo stays out as well. What's Synthetic gonna do? Stays out. He's the only man to fit on those blue, full, wet tires. No, Clarky's in as well. What is he going to do? Most likely, full wets. Everyone else stays out behind him, so only 2 drivers go in. Is that going to be a mistake for Carex, or is it a mistake for Ali D? We'll find out in the next couple of laps. We're at the halfway mark here at Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. It's going to be a good race. But will it pay off? He's right in front of H-Racing Green. Now H-Racing Green, he's going to try and pick a fight with them. Headed up Au Rouge, he thinks best of not to it. And already losing a lot of time up Au Rouge. I'm not sure if that's H-Racing Green or the intermediate tires. I mean, it could be both. But going through the field, it is Ali D back in the lead. Most likely he'll be pitting this lap. And I think the conditions are starting to worsen with these drivers. I mean, everyone says the undercut usually works a lot better than the overcut in racing. As now Ali K gets passed, and look at this battle between Kian and Jake LFC around the outside. There's more grip there, but gets shoved off by Jake LFC. But he'll have the inside this time to the inside and clears him. But yeah, we're gonna go through the field. We'll look with Ali D. We'll ride on board. I mean, it sort of looks like he's struggling. It looks so much that rain is coming down more than the cats and dogs, I'll be honest. Going through the field, there's Aresi in second. Third is Simo back onto the podium. Fourth is Synthetic. Fifth is Carex. He's a man on a mission. He's actually not increasing the gap with H-Racing Green, who drifts around that corner. I'm not sure which one to... Oh, he's run wide. Carex is run wide in that corner. I think he pitted a lap too early. He's making so many mistakes, to the point where he can't even pull away from H-Racing Green. So that may be a problem, but Ali D, what is he gonna do? Ali D stays out another lap. Aresi, he'll stay out another lap. Simo stays out. Most likely Synthetic will stay out as well. So I'm not sure what Carex and Clarky were doing, but they've decided to pit a lap ago. And now Carex is inside the top 5. I'm not sure if it costed them, because we don't know what it's like. I mean, for all we know, the rain could go away in 5 minutes, and these drivers are staying on the intermediate tires just to save us. I don't know. I don't know Jeff. I don't know what he's thinking. I don't know the radar when it comes to this stuff. But for the time being, all we know, this rain, we don't know what the weather is looking like, and we don't know who will win this race. What do you think will happen, Nathan?
Well, the interesting thing is that Carex, he's just gained about a second on Ollie D. The gap between Carex and Ollie D is now 15, low 15 seconds. But this is what happened last lap, because at the start of the last lap, Carex was gaining a few seconds on Ollie D. And then the second that Carex got to poo on, that side of the circuit, Carex started making mistakes and losing time. So it's almost like that part of the circuit is intermediate tyre conditions, and the rest of it is full wet tyre conditions. Well, we'll wait and see. We'll see whether Carex is tentative going into poo on, and it looks a slight slide there, but it looks pretty good, and the gap between Carex and Ollie D is closed down significantly. Just over the course of this lap, it's now 14.5 seconds. So Carex has caught up at least, well, you know, pretty much about a second this lap. So it looks, to me, I think when Carex came out of the pits, he was 16 seconds behind Ollie D. So Carex has actually gained time on Ollie D over the course of this stint. So unless the rain does go away, or Ollie D comes into the pits now, I think Carex will actually maintain the race lead. But Ollie D is staying out, I think. So is Aresi, so is Simo. All of the top 3 are still staying out. So yeah, but as you said, you know, we have no idea what the weather forecast is going to be, and Carex, plainly the quicker driver, at least that last lap, he was the quickest driver out there. But, you know, if the rain goes away, if it stops raining so heavily now, then he's screwed. He's out there, he's out there on the tyres, which for the time being are quicker, as he locked up heading into the source. He's out there currently on the quicker tyres, but, you know, if the rain decreases in intensity, then, well, he's stranded out there on what will soon become the wrong tyres. But for the time being, Carex, assuming everyone else has to come into the pits again, Carex should easily maintain his race lead by, you know, a 3-second gap, let's say.
Yeah. So we're getting some info on another opinion from B. Cole. Oh man, he's filled with opinions. And down in the comments, we'll be bringing it up since he's a driver. He says, Carex with the worst strategy call of this season. Now, I'm not sure what's going to happen, but, you know, B. Cole was a driver, obviously. He retired a couple laps ago as Clarky goes by against Wooly. And, you know, he must know something that we don't. He must know that, you know, he could if you finish the race on these tires, not only will you'll be able to finish without getting a puncture, but, you know, it doesn't really matter. I mean, he wouldn't be making mistakes. I mean, let's say if the rain gets so bad, the intermediates would be dreadful to ride on. If Alidi pitted a lap later than Carex, most likely he would have gone out ahead of him because that one lap difference between those two, Carex was struggling so much. So let's say if the turnover point, you know, already happened, Carex should have pitted a lap later. If he wanted to find, you know, the most time, if Carex wanted to go to the full wets, he should have pitted a lap later. But even then, I don't think you should be going on the full wets. I mean, these drivers are looking just fine, and if I put on the leader gap, it is 12 seconds. We have 10 laps to go, and he needs to make up 12 seconds as he exceeds the track limits and picks up another penalty. Carex now needs to make up 12 plus 6, well, that is 18 seconds, actually 18.7, so rounded up to 19 seconds, he needs to make up. Oh, and one of the Toro Rossos goes wide, that's Jake LFC, trying to battle with his teammate, while Alex picks up a penalty in this race. So I will point out, I don't know how, but Ali K is sliced to the field, and he's now in 7th. So Ali K is doing a good job. His championship competitor Synthetic, he's in 4th. Simo, like we said, somehow he's into the podium. I called it. Let's just hope that stays for 9 more laps, and I'm correct. But the gap between Aldi and Aresi is 3.7 seconds. Zaytrace in green picks up a penalty. I think that's the best. Oh no, Ali K. Disaster strikes for Ali K. He's disconnected from the session. What's going on here? He's going to lose position to RC Alonso and many others. Whoa, no, this is terrible. This is everything that Synthetic wanted to see. He is disconnected from the session. Oh, that is a complete disaster for Ali K. That is not what he needed.
Oh, Kian's just spun out and has been taken out by Wooly. I say taken out, I think there's damage potentially to Wooly's car. What happened is Clarky, at the end of the Camel Straight, Clarky was going around the outside of Kian, didn't leave Kian enough space, spun him around. Yeah, that's a battle to keep an eye out on. We say that Carex has made a mistake by going on the wet tyres. He's just passed Synthetic, but Clarky, albeit, you know, in quite a dirty fashion, did get past Kian, but Clarky got past Kian, he got past Wooly. He was quicker than the pair of them, and Clarky is also out on the full wets. He's going to pass Ali K, who of course is disconnected. So,
he's
of
back
course,
in.
you know, we still don't know whether it's a mistake pitting onto the wet tyres, but certainly Carex and Clarky are incredibly quick on the full wets. It's just a case of whether everyone else will need to come into the pits again, and, you know, whether it goes to full wet tyre conditions, you know. But at the moment, the people who are on the full wet, Carex and Clarky, have got the pace.
Yeah. So Ali K is back in the session. Now it'll be a man on a mission. Look at the rain. The rain has stopped coming down. So those full wets, they're probably going to be wearing down. They'll be even slower than the intermediates. I mean, look at the conditions. That's intermediate conditions. I mean, yeah, the track is probably soaked in pouring and doesn't even absorb like a sponge or anything. But I mean, still, it looks like intermediate conditions. I don't know what Carex and Clarky were thinking, but the heavy rain has just gone away to the point maybe in the next 2 laps, maybe the rain might go away, you know, for good. I don't know. But Carex, he must be going mad right now, to the point where he thought he nailed this strategy. He was thinking, yes, I pitted, everyone else is not, it is pouring rain, I'm going to win this race. Next, you know, 5 laps pass, and here he is, locking up that right front, struggling, and Synthetic is gaining time back to pass him for P4. Now this is good. This is good for Synthetic. Now I'm going to point out the points, because I said I would 10 laps ago, and I forgot about it. Procrastination, I know, right? Go through the field. This is good for Synthetic. If Synthetic gets by, 12 points awarded for him. Ali K is at 11th. That's exactly what Synthetic needed. And by the way, a battle for P9 about to go on between Clarky and Alex. So let's say Ali K finishes 11th. Synthetic picks up that 4th position from Carex, who is now starting to struggle in these intermediate conditions. Let's say he gets 4th. That is a difference of 12 points, and the gap between Ali K and Synthetic in the championship is 31. I mean, that's a big gain for Synthetic, because he's able to pull that off. I'm trying to do the math in my head. I'll probably come back to you. I need my own calculator if I try and do the calculations during the race. But actually, Simo, look how much he's behind Aresi. He might even get 2nd in this race, which, I mean, sort of goes to show how much Simo's been pushing. If these two start to battle, it's pretty much guaranteed a victory for Ali D. The gap between Aresi and Ali D is now 5.2 as Carex back into the pits he goes, fitting the intermediates most likely. Again, Carex, just stay out there. No, he's putting on the slick tires. What? He's putting on the super softs. What is he doing? Oh my goodness. I'm not sure. I mean, maybe the conditions, it might dry towards the end of the... I don't know what he's doing. The other man who's made a mistake in this race, Clarky, he follows it. I swear, if he puts on the slicks, I am going to have a ball. Oh my god, he's putting on the soft tires! He's putting on the soft tires. Well, I mean, you are running in last place. There's nothing to lose. Never mind, he's retired. Yeah, I mean, you could lose that. Oh, Carex, he's suffering so much. This is hilarious. By goes Alex for P8. Ali K back in the points, most likely will pick up P9 due to Carex being boneheaded, to say the least. I don't know what he is thinking. That's worse than when he decided to go in the full wets. Yellow in Sector 1, who could that be? Pass between Aresi and Simo going at it. I don't even sound serious about it. I'm still laughing that Carex decided to put on the slicks. As the rain actually looks like it's starting to come down again. Oh, this is very interesting. And Aresi and Simo will keep going heads to toe at it. It'll be a little tango dance between these two until they finally get around each other. Simo, he'll try and find a lane to slide around the outside. Will he be able to do it? Taken on board on that Pink Panther against a prancing horse. He'll try and dive it up the inside in this corner most likely. Oh, he's going to put on the block to the inside. Back to the outside is Simo. And still hanging on. He'll try to switch back, gain momentum up towards the hill. And Aresi leads in second, coming across for lap 17. Do you think Simo will be able to get by? Most likely, yes, but, I mean, do bear in mind, I'm not sure who has a time penalty between these two, and also bear in mind, we're coming towards the end of this race, and the conditions are just changing every lap.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the time penalties now. Aresi's got a 3-second time penalty, and I don't believe Simo has. So actually, as it stands, even though Simo is behind Aresi...
Whoa, look at this 4-car train. Hold on a second, I hate interrupting. 4-car train. Ali K, Wooly, Kian, and here comes... Whoa, switching lanes. Fantastic passing here at Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. Ali K's gonna look to the inside. Oh, he'll try and run off Wooly, and he'll be wheel to wheel, headed down, All Rouge. Oh, we may even see 3 wide. What is this going on? Oh, one's gonna have to back out here. Who is gonna be the hero? Oh, they all go back to single file. Oh, come on. Come on, I want to see some racing, and now they're gonna go back to 3 wide off All Rouge. What's gonna happen down the Kemmel Straight? On board with the Renault, and here comes Wooly against Ali K, and he'll be looking for a move. And around the outside, can he do anything about it? The Red Bull trying to hang on, and here comes Kian out of nowhere, back to the outside, back to the inside, grabs that final point spot, and now he's going to be a man on a mission to try and pass Ali K. He'll try and go around the outside of Ali K. Can he do it? The gap is going to close. He runs it very wide, and here comes Wooly. It's a 3-car battle for only 2 points. Should they be pushing this much? Back to the inside, there's Clarky to make contact. Look at this battle. Still wheel to wheel is the Red Bull and Renault going at it, as now Ali K will start to drive away to the inside. Kian grabs that final point. That's something Renault needs, because that's the only driver Renault has, and now Ali K makes a mistake. And here comes Kian back at it to try outside, shoving him wide and spitting. There goes Kian. Kian around, and that is not something good for the Renault team. And Alec or Carex gets by. Man, that was good. The best battle we've seen today as Synthetic finds himself into the pit lane, putting on a new set of intermediates. So that brings up the question, do you think these intermediates are good to finish the race on? Because many drivers have already pitted for the second time. Most likely the tire wear is not helping. Do you think drivers such as Ali D and Simo will be able to finish on these tires?
That is a question, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yes, I mean, am I going mad? Did we see Simo pass Aresi?
Yeah,
because
yeah,
last time I remember, Aresi.
I saw him pass it. You were blabbing away.
Oh, I was probably yeah. I was looking at the penalties then. Yeah, I just got confused when I saw Simo in second then. But anyway, it is a good point actually that Synthetic, by coming into the pits, he didn't really have anything to lose. You know, it was effectively a free pit stop. He was that far ahead of most of the people behind him. I mean, I think he's only dropped one place to Synthetic by coming into the pits, as Kerex has got another penalty. He's still out there on those super softs. I don't quite know what Kerex is trying to prove by still driving on the softs. Who knows? I mean, to be fair though, if two more people retired, Kerex could still score a point on those super soft tyres, as mad as it is with only 15 starters. But yeah, this is... Yeah, I mean, actually... Yeah, it is a good point. And Simo is catching up to Ollie D. Quickly enough, I'm not sure. But, I mean, there's going to be... Well, Ollie D is just about to start the 19th lap. So, I mean, there's 4 laps left to go. Simo would have to catch up at a rate of about 9/10 of a second a lap and then pass Ollie D, but Simo is the quicker of the two drivers. Aresi has dropped back, but Aresi, even with the time penalty he's got, will still easily take third place. But yeah, this could be. I mean, we've seen, we've seen all sorts this race. We've seen 2 drivers pit on to dry tyres when it's wet. We've seen Kian spin twice. I should have mentioned that actually, that Kian, when he span around earlier on, that was the second time this race. He span on the full wets. So, yeah, it really has just been quite a poor race for Kian, and yeah, and because he qualified, I know he qualified in 10th, so he's only actually dropped 1 position all race, but yeah, and okay, just want to bring back towards the lead of the race, but Simo still catching up to Ollie D. At a rate of 9/10 of a second a lap? No, it's more at the moment he's caught up about 1/2 of a second a lap. But Aresi is dropping back quite a bit actually from the top 2, but he's still comfortably in third place, 13 seconds ahead of RC Alonso in 4th. Synthetic though, on these brand new intermediate tyres, his pace has been not that much quicker than RC Alonso, and Synthetic, he's gonna have to catch up. Well, he's going to have to catch up RC Alonso at a rate of, over a second a lap to retake 4th place. But with Synthetic in 5th place and Ali K in 10th, that means Synthetic, who is currently 2nd in the Drivers' Championship, he's going to be catching up a lot of points on Ali K, the championship leader, who's currently only due to score 1 point. And even then, Ali K is still 4 seconds behind Wooly in 9th. But... yeah, I mean, yeah, so Alan, do you reckon there's going to be any changes in position? Because I'm looking at the order and I think it's pretty set in stone. There might be a change in 6th place between Jake LFC and Alex, but apart from that, I think these positions are pretty much set in stone.
Yeah, most likely. They should be where they are towards the end of this race, though then again, we have to factor in penalties, but I do think Alex is getting a lot on against Jake LFC. We come to 3 laps to go here in Spa, and Alex should be looking to get by within the next lap to 2. And I'm going to the field. I think everything should be good. The gap between Simon and Ali is decreasing by a lot. So, I don't think Ali will win this race by a lot towards the end, but I will bring up a fact here. I know from other leagues, I hate bringing up other leagues when I come to AOR, but I know for a fact, if you run on a slick condition...
RC Alonso has just gone off the track. He's got a puncture. Oh, that's what it is. He's got a left rear puncture as RC Alonso. So Synthetic has gone by. And, we were saying just a couple of laps ago, will these intermediate tyres make it to the end? Well, RC Alonso's certainly won't. You know, I mean, he's in 5th place at the moment, crawling back to the pits. I think, without a shadow of a doubt, is going to end up in probably 2nd to last place. And, you know, that's such a shame for RC Alonso. But also, we've got to keep that in mind. 2 laps left to go, just over 2 laps left to go. And yeah, RC Alonso's tyres have gone, and you know, that means the potential is there, because pretty much every driver came in on the same lap. The potential is there for other drivers, apart from Synthetic, who's on a brand new set of intermediates. The potential is there for everyone, you know, to encounter the same issues that RC Alonso's currently suffering.
Yep, Kian had to pit. He suffered the same issue, not a puncture, but he was about to. Look at that. Oh, slowing down. Yep, okay, that was RC Alonso. Racing Green, ever so close to the back end of Alex. There'll be a battle between these two. Now, I'm worried about every single driver in this field who has not pitted the second time. I don't know who is going to finish this race without not getting a puncture. Many drivers have the possibility of getting it. I see so many drivers hopping over the curbs. I see them using so much curbing. I mean, I'm scared looking at some of these drivers, especially Ali D. He's, yellow in Sector 3, I think. Oh, diving to the inside. Racing Green gets by Alex. And both of them, nope, never mind. Alex goes into the pits. That's anticlimactic. Okay. Still slowing. Sector 3 is RC Alonso while Alex pits. With 2 laps to go, will Ali D hang on to this lead? You do have to keep in mind. Oh, Alex going to the Ultra Softs. Oh boy, what is he doing? Well, Racing Green gets by Jake LFC. Jake LFC, right rear puncture. Jake LFC has a puncture. Another puncture. The Toro Rossos, their tires have blown up with 2 laps to go, trying not to spin it up the exit of the Verdillon. And it is a question for every driver if they can finish this race on these tires. That is a question we bring to the table with 2 laps to go. The man to look at is Ali D. It has stopped raining. The spray is starting to go away. That is going to be worse for your tires. Those tires are probably in the 90s right now. And you know, these dry conditions are not helping. So, we come to the final lap, and it is a question for every driver. I'd be shaking nervous coming towards this last lap. It's going to be a very, very good finish.
Yeah, oh no, it certainly will be. And actually, I mean, you said, you know, how it's mad how Alex fit on the Ultra Softs. But to be honest, the track... it's not quite dry tyre conditions, but it's probably not a million miles away from it, to be honest. And, you know, with Alex on the Ultra Softs, so's Wooly, so's Ali K, Carex, of course, is still on the Super Softs. You know, there's quite a lot of drivers out there on dry tyres, but I think most of those are ones who suffered punctures. Of course, Jake LFC spinning, but of course he's got the punctured tyre, so that means Alex, who's running wide on those dry tyres. This is a crazy final couple of laps. With drivers, we got some drivers on dry tyres when it's still wet, some on punctured intermediates. But as it stands, Ollie D and that Red Bull, still just about those tyres are hanging on there. Same for Simo in second. It would be devastating if the race win between these two drivers was decided by a puncture.
Don't say it. Don't say it. Oh, I'm starting to see so many streaks of lines on those tires. They look so worn. Dearest now enabled. I was gonna say, Simo was getting so much, but he had to back off. He had to save his tires. He has to save his tires. He cannot push any further. We approach the last lap. Imagine if Ali D, the scenes, if he will not win this race, but we approach the last lap. It's a question. Again, I'm looking at his tires. They look like they're 110% for all I know. I'm not even sure how they're staying alive. Beagle has left. And wow, Jake LFC into the pits finally. Wooly will pick up the position. RC Alonso is somehow hanging on. I don't think we have any more punctures, which is something good to see. Though we approach the final sectors, Ali D going very slowly. Simo even more, losing 3/10.
I think Simo's got a puncture, actually.
Oh, he has a puncture! Simo has a puncture! Oh, goodness me! Right rear puncture. What about Ali D? Ali D's gonna fly it on home. Oh, that's devastating. Halfway through this race, I'd say somehow Simo's gonna puncture. I think, podium. But through the final corner, it doesn't matter for Ali D. Ali D finished this race. Puncture free, takes victory in the Belgian Grand Prix. Wins here in Spa. Masters tire strategy. Masters his tires. Takes victory. And the country of Belgium Simo, oh, he's trying to finish this race. If he can hang on, it's going to be a finish between Aresi and Simo. He spins out right across. Oh, no, he's going to get a podium, but no, Synthetic gets third. What was that, Simo? All you had to do was hang on. You were only 5 seconds away from getting a podium. Oh, I'm crying. Oh, what was Simo doing? Oh, that is devastating for the Force India driver. H Racing Green, best finish of the season. P5. And Alex somehow, out of being out of the points for the majority of this race, will come through in the chicane. And Alex will take a good P6. And the team will not be disappointed with that result, to say the least. Wooly, same result here. They'll be happy with a 7th place. Ali K will be getting a single point from Synthetic's 15 points. That slices a championship lead in half. Definitely in half. If I were Simo, imagine if Simo never pushed through the race. Simo would have been fine. I mean, he could have blocked Aresi across the line. Maybe a little less, pressure on the throttle. I think he would have gotten Aresi across the line, but he didn't even get Synthetic. He ended up spinning. Must feel for Simo one more lap. I don't even think Ali D would have done it. I mean, Ali D doesn't even have a puncture yet. Synthetic, neither does he, but I think Aresi does. No, he does not, but wow. Good finish to the race. I didn't even know tire wear would become an issue.
No, I mean, well, Spa, of course, always a race that produces exciting results. But yeah, I mean, tyre wear. The second it started raining, yeah, it didn't even occur to me that tyres were going to be puncturing. Never mind for several different drivers, all on the final few laps.
And there you go. Ali D takes his 2nd victory of the season and increases the amount of points he has. Good result for him. I'm happy that he won. I'm friends with his brother. So nice to see that he took victory today on the podium as well with the Maresi. 2nd podium of the season. Synthetic finally back on the podium. A good motivation for him this season. Definitely something he needs if he wants to win this championship. The gap between him and Aresi, or Ali K, before this race was 31 points. I'll do the math after, but here is our finishing results. It is Ali D, Aresi, Synthetic, Simo, H Racing Green, Alex, Wooly, RC Alonso, Jake LFC, Ali K running at the top 10. After that is Key and Carex Clarkey, Fernando Alonso, which is Beacle, and down in 15th is the Williams of Clarkey? No, is it Clarkey? I don't know. I think it's Clarkey. It is Clarkey. Okay. Is it? I don't know. I still don't know.
Clarkey's in 13th.
13. I am so blind. Okay, that's Big C. That I knew it couldn't be him. I knew he was at the back. Terrible day for Williams. I was saying before this race, they were doing so well, Williams were. And then they come into this round, they don't get any points. Despite having 15 drivers, only 5 not getting points. Williams doesn't get any. But your winner today is Ali D. And Synthetic starts to reel in Ali K. Is this a start for something good for Synthetic? We will see. We'll get to driver interviews in just a second, as we will wait for time to count down. So, on a scale from 1 to 10, how would you rate this race? I would have to say, from Hungary to Russia to Silverstone, it ties all of those races. Those 4 races are ones that stand out to me. How about you?
I mean, I know I haven't been commentating on an AOR race for about a month, but I'm fairly certain they weren't all this good. Now this one, you know, I'll be honest, my heart did sink a bit when it started raining, because we all know what this game's like when it starts raining. The number of overtakes drops, and, you know, and normally, as we've seen with quite a few races, the second the rain starts falling, the boredom starts rising. But no, this one, you know, we saw different drivers come out in the wet, tyre strategy, tyre choice, the amount of times people pitted became a factor. Synthetic pitting an extra time and finishing 3rd. I don't think anyone would have predicted that even 4 or 5 laps before the end. So certainly one of the more interesting races, and one which really did change even in the final few seconds. We all thought Simo was going to take 2nd, and then it ended up finishing 4th. Yeah, certainly one of the better races. 8.5, 9 out of 10, I'd probably say.
Yeah. So that finishes out this race. We'll be getting driver interviews in just a second, and thank you, Dan Hawkins, whoever's controlling that AOR account. That was a good race. I enjoyed it. Thank you for the well words from everyone in the support. People are saying Harry for driver of the day. I would have to say driver of the day. Not only, I mean, maybe Alex. I don't know. It's a hard decision because I mean, yes, Alex gained more positions than Harry, but Harry, he didn't even crash out. So that definitely gives in a huge factor for driver of the day. And I pick on Harry every race. It's because he retires every race, and I like to pick on him, and hopefully, he doesn't hate me after these 12 races. I've picked on him for spinning out every one. No, I'm kidding. But seriously, he had a good race. Alex, phenomenal race. I'm gonna have to give driver of the day. Oh, this is a hard decision. I don't know. I could give it to either one of those drivers because both of them deserve it. Maybe even Synthetic. He started 9th. I don't know. Who do you think?
Well, I was going to mention Synthetic if you didn't, because Synthetic started in 9th, finished in 3rd, the highest person who stopped twice. So, I mean, personally, there's quite a few drivers who deserve it. I mean, Ollie D, it's kind of difficult to argue against Ollie D for driver of the day because he didn't put a foot wrong, and he started behind a Resi and passed a Resi early on. So it's difficult to argue a case against Ollie D, but yeah, Ollie D, Synthetic, H Racing Green, Car Alex, I think any one of those 4 you could easily argue a case for one of them being driver of the day. Personally, if you put a gun to my head and said I had to name someone, I probably would say Synthetic. Probably, just about.
Okay. So yeah. Thank you everybody so much for watching. We'll get driver interviews, and finally we'll get those in very quickly. So let's invite Ollie D. I'm happy he won. They say when you're a commentator, you can't be biased, but I mean, Ollie D is my friend. I mean, I'm happy to see the guy win. It's been a struggle for him ever since he got his last win. He's only gotten points finishes. He hasn't got a podium since. So nice to see that he's finally back in action. We've invited Ollie to the party. I'll invite one other. Let's see if I can get Simo in here as well. Maybe not. I don't know. Let's get Alex in here, because he probably has a heck of a story to tell. So let's hopefully get Alex in also. I'm trying to invite people at once so they don't all leave. So everybody, if you're watching, stay tuned for post-race interviews. And it'll be a good show to have on here. So for the time being, if anybody is one